Hi guys, my name is Yabo and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement. Like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Art Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ kàn sí Sweet Art Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and all social media platforms at Sweet Art Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Art Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Art Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show, Enough is Enough, in Soro Soke, sponsored by Betta9ja. I'm your host and anchor, Mr. Femi Oke, and welcome to the show, dedicated to debate and discussions towards a better Niger. Good evening to all our viewers. And via Zoom, our lady Marlene ONYEOCHA, CEO of Prime View Television, UK. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm good to be here. Thank you.
I also have Dr. OLUFEMI OBA-KARUNWI, PhD in mathematics. Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I have two other guests who are not with us just now. They'll be coming in to us. There's Prince KINGSLEY ONYEMENEM, is a barrister and political analyst, and Mr. OGUNDIMU, Citizen AY, also known as Citizen AY, CEO of TV. So welcome to the show again. You can call in on +44 791 809 952. You can also call on +44 203 774 7220. And you can also post messages on the Facebook handle at Safe Omega Media. We should start the show by discussing the state of the country under President Muhammad Buhari's ABC government, the genesis of the agitations for separation, and whether Nigeria will stand or fall. Since most Nigerians still believe united we stand, divided we fall, we will look at the pros and cons and finish with current affairs. So, I'll start the first question to you in the studio, Mr. OBANLEOWO. Okay. Some say that the Johnny-come-lately Oduduwa Republic agitators are people with no substance, just seeking relevance. What do you say to that?
Well, I disagree wholeheartedly with that insinuation. You wouldn't expect somebody of Professor Akintoye's caliber to put himself towards a project or a justified cause that he doesn't believe is going to work. This is a man who has an enormous wealth of experience and knows what he's doing. He also believes that the fact that we don't have a country that is working, the only reasonable and tangible solution is for Nigeria to split and allow everybody to go their separate ways. So I disagree comprehensively with any insinuation or ill-informed comments anybody might be having towards the agitation of the Oduduwa nation. That is my own stance on that.
Okay, good. I want to take the next question to Lady Marlene. Can you hear me, Lady Marlene?
Yes, I can.
Good. The federal government has largely been missing as the growing calls for separation grow louder on the backs of nepotism claims, increasing insecurity and poverty. There seems to be a helplessness. What message is the federal government giving to strengthen our unity beyond saying that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable?
Well, Femi, that's a very good question. First off, the federal government is not giving there's no advice and there's no solution and there's nothing coming from the federal government, as far as I am concerned. Nigeria has become a failed state. The federal government has not done anything in the I'm not saying 6 years, in the 4 years that these agitations and all this security instability has gotten out of hand in Nigeria. So now coming to say that federal government will do this, do that, I do not think that right now, whatever has to be done, as far as I'm concerned, has to be done without inclusive the federal government. But when we start, we're not talking about agitation now, because I have a different view on that too. Oduduwa, Biafra, and all that. But when it has to do with the federal government, absolutely nothing. They're not doing. We shouldn't even mention federal government here, as far as I'm concerned, right now, with the state of security in Nigeria.
So, what do you suggest that they should be doing? If they haven't been doing anything, is there anything that they can do?
There's so much could have been done years back. So much could have been done before Oduduwa's voice came out loudly, like IPOB, like a Biafran voice. So much could have been done, but when Boko Haram came up, was insecurity everywhere, nobody said anything. Then we're just fighting Boko Haram. Now we're fighting, we're concerned about not just the unknown gunmen, we're concerned about Fulani headsmen, we're concerned about what do you call them now, the kidnappers and all that. I don't even know where. I don't think there's anything I think they can do right now. I think the best thing is go back to the Constitution, because everything where we are now is the Constitution that kept us here. The only thing I would want them to do is sit back, bring out that Constitution, tear it up, dissolve it, and then let's go back to table, negotiate again, the dialogue, and see if something can be done. If referendum we can come up with a referendum or
not part of the Constitution, though.
Nothing more, nothing less. I don't believe in. I'm jumping the bars now. I don't believe in separation.
Okay.
There's so much that can be done with the people, not just the federal government, with the Nigerian people.
You cut off there. All right, let me move the question on to Dr. Karanwi. Are you there? Dr. Karanwi. I think you need to turn on your mic. Dr. Karanwi, are you there?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so the question I have for you
I'm
is,
here.
It's still following on the work of the federal government. Is apart from the National Youth Service Corps and federal character, which many say encourages mediocrity, but also use it as a weapon against government for failure to adhere to it as the main reason for agitation. They agitate saying that government have not been fair, there's nepotism and whatnot, and there is a use for their separatist agendas. What else can government do to strengthen unity and quash the rebellious separatist agitators? Doctor, did you hear me?
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Absolutely.
Yes, I tend to see, if I could hear you clearly, I heard about something about NYC and all the stuff that has to do with.
Do you want me to just tell you what I'm
you
saying?
said that again. Can you put it?
So basically what I'm saying is we have NYC and federal character. Many say that these are just encouraging mediocrity. Some of us are using federal character or the failure to imbibe federal character as the reason why there's a failure in the central government, and that's why the agitators are making noise now. So I'm asking, what else can government do to quash the rebellious separatists?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Can you hear?
And we can see you as well.
Can you hear me now? And
Yes, we can see you and hear you. Go
All
ahead.
right. Can I say from here, from the viewpoint of the federal character, the NYC, and all the stuff, the government needs to do in the sense that I tell you, the common Nigerian does not care whether it's an Hausa, Bibo, or Kanuri that is in government or is minister. So far, service is rendered. It is an.
We lost you there. Doctor, can you hear us? I think he was making a very valid point there. We'll have to come back to you, Doctor, because we've lost you. I think he was trying to say that the ordinary Nigerian over in the studio is not interested in where
you come from,
whoever's in what post, ministerial post or whatever, where they're from, so long as they're delivering good service.
Absolutely.
Isn't that the crux of the matter?
It is indeed, Femi. And I believe in the government of fairness. And based on what Tunde is saying, I think he has a valid point. But what I fail to understand about good governance in Nigeria is when you deliberately capitalize on federal character and you put incompetent people who they don't have the manpower, they don't have the skills needed in order to carry out their duties properly. And that is why we have a government that has been accused constantly of nepotism and all these favoritism issues. Now, if you want to, if you believe that federal character is the best way forward, and it has been implemented properly in such a mannerism in which the Nigerian citizens will begin to understand that, look, what you're trying to do is balance the cabinet by making sure that across the 36 states, every state is properly represented at the federal level.
Well, can I just come in there?
Then it's fine.
We already know that ministerial positions definitely goes by the 36 states.
Sure.
I mean, for goodness sake, we're talking about excessive cost of governance. You have to have 36 ministers represented.
Sure.
In this
junior ministers as well.
Pardon? Yeah. Is that for good governance to have just 36 governors when you may not need to have 36 ministries? Is that good? Does that encourage meritocracy in what we want? Or is it just allowing mediocrity to prevail?
You see, Femi, I think we've always discussed these things in private. That because we're in the problem now, that we as a country cannot really afford to have too many people serving in one capacity or the other, because we just can't afford it. Because Nigeria is not a country that is generating enough income to take care of all these things. No, so I can understand where you're coming from that perspective. But what we have to understand is, how do we now cater for all the things needed to be implemented in terms of, infrastructures, the economy, unemployment, and all these things. So we need people, and we need people with the right skills, with the right mentality, who can show and exhibit leadership qualities when given them the opportunity to.
So just before I get to Prince Kingsley, would you therefore say that we should jettison Betta character?
I think moving forward, based on the present predicaments and the situation we're in now, I think that will be the best way forward.
Okay, good. Prince Barrister Kingsley, are you there?
I'm here, Femi. Good evening.
Okay, fantastic. Good evening to you. Welcome to the show. Now, the question I have for you is, current separatist dictators and the insecurities in Nigeria are having a direct impact on reducing foreign direct investment and diaspora investments. What do you see as the way forward? I mean, if we continue with these agitations and these separatist agendas, it's going to lead to less investment, which is going to increase unemployment, which is going to increase poverty. It's almost the opposite of what these agitators are actually seeking for. What do you say to that?
I think, Femi, one of the questions perhaps that comes out of that is, what is the purpose of these agitators, or the separatists? What is it that they seek to achieve? If, as we know it, or for some of us who believe that there's a reason why they want to go their separate ways, or they're agitating for a better governance, is to better the economy, then it is important that we look at that now, than to consider, yes, it is true that there has been unemployment, and unemployment in Nigeria is not something new. Unemployment is about 60%. 60% of Nigerian youths are unemployed as we speak. Is it going to get better if there's no agitation? I don't think it's going to get any better. If from what we know of the past and of today, Nigeria hasn't got any better than it was yesterday. In fact, it's gotten worse. Not that I am a supporter of the agitation, but I think I understand and see reason why people are agitating. It's because they've come to the point where they feel that there's no answer from the federal government, those that will put in power to assist our children and assist the youths to have a better life. They haven't done their job, and they don't intend to do their job from the looks of things. In terms of the effect that it has in terms of foreign direct investment, look, Nigeria is already suffering from the consequences of the complacence of the Nigerian of those who are ruling us as it is. It is not those who are agitating that's caused the effect that has so far been had on foreign direct investment.
But they're adding petrol to the fire.
Well, of course they are. I mean, of course they are. But
they're not going to go well. That can't all go well.
Well, look, it's look. You're not going to beat a baby and tell a baby not to cry. You smack a child, the child must cry. Nigerians
I must say that when I was growing up, my mom used to smack me and tell me to stop crying.
Well, did they ever stop me from crying? No, I don't think
stop me. Because I didn't want any more beating.
Well, look, the point I'm trying to make is this. We have arrived at a situation where we cannot go back to. I've heard Lady Marlene speak earlier on. We've got to the point where, if I'm correct, the federal, from what she was trying to do, the government that we're having as of today would not be able, and they cannot be able to help the insecurities in Nigeria. If they could, they haven't shown us that they can. they have literally allowed the individuals who are trying to destroy this country called Nigeria to run freely. And they are doing that as we speak. So people would agitate, and I support if they have to agitate, and I understand why they're agitating. Because those that we have in power would not help and cannot help. So we call it self-help if you want to call it self-help. But it's got to the point that we have to now, preserve who we are and what we stand for without the help of the federal government, because they have shown us that they cannot take the mantle of leadership.
Good. That is the critical question, to preserve who we are and what we stand for. I think that is a very critical question, and that needs answering, because that means different things to different people. People define themselves differently. Whereas we want to be one Nigeria, one people, people describe themselves differently, and that also is stopping this agitation. I want to come back to Lady Marlene. As Prince Kingsley mentioned about the economic case, that is the economy, and the poverty that may have been the ones that's causing a lot of these agitations, plus the insecurities as well. Let's look at the economy. We talked a bit of it last week. What is the economic case for separation? I mean, can we explain that? Is there a valid case for the sustainability of all these republics, be it Biafran Republic or Dura Republic? If they were to form tomorrow, will they be an economically developed state? Will they be able for their indigents to be put bread and butter on the table? Will they be able to do that? Can you answer that question?
Sincerely, I believe.
Let me just, sorry, Marlene, let me just take this call. Hold on just a moment. Where's the speaker? Hello? Welcome to the show. How can I help? Who's speaking?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah. Do you want to ask a question?
Yes, please.
Go ahead. What's your name, please?
I want to make a contribution.
Okay, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Otumba and I'm calling from London.
Okay, good. Go on, make your contribution, please. Quickly. Make your contribution, sir.
Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
go
live.
ahead, sir.
Make your contribution. We're hearing you.
Okay, yeah, well, I've heard what the best have to say in terms of what they call and the argument for whether some people should keep quiet and not to agitate or not to want to say exactly how we feel. I mean, as you know, there was 36 states against the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Out of this 36 states, the substantial part of the citizens part of it is also part of the country, not having benefit of being together. I said it from one or two of your other things. You cannot choose to what is the divorce the relationship. In a normal relationship, it's a husband and a wife. If the relationship is not doing well for either side, you can choose to divorce. So, and that way out of having family. Now we had enough of all this relationship that is one-sided, lopsided, and appointment. There's no improvement. Everything is so crowded in such a manner that we cannot do certain things we want to do. And always we need to look at it in America, where California is one of the 15 states of America, and because this is the years and then also has an ability to develop themselves to become the economy you want. So what's because to have allowed the destruction, to allow states that want to be destruction, do their develop themselves and their own space.
Okay, we're going to have...
Yes, and now you don't make other people see what they want to be.
Okay, we're going to have to address that question because of time. So let's put that question to the panel, and we'll hear from you again. Thank you very much, Otumba. Thank you. Yes, Marlene,
Yes.
going back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, you asked me about if we'll be able to survive, literally, if we separate. That's literally what you're asking.
The question initially, that's what Otuba is saying. Otuba is saying that states should be allowed to do their own thing and restructure, just like California is doing, and they're surviving. That he thinks that, we shouldn't necessarily be stuck in one Nigeria. But the question I was asking was that...
You're asking economically.
Yes. What's the case for these separations? Would they be better off as separate entities than they are now?
Nigeria, as I know it, is like vast natural resources. In the north, they have land, they can cultivate, they can go into agriculture. In the east, we have things that can sustain us, not just the oil. If we go back to the time we used to have our own natural, regardless oil being there was cocoa, there was this, there was that, there was that. If we can decide to go into maybe agriculture or every other thing we decide to do, yes, we can survive separately. Like we can economically survive separately. But then you think about investors coming in, which is one of the most crucial things we need. The problem we will have is if we separate a country like China, we will really need China to come and help us do whatever, one thing or the other. But a country like China now, or any other country that wants to come and invest, will not want to invest, Dudua or Biafra or this. Only if we're one Nigeria, I believe, the economical investment will have a good impact in that. But will we be able to survive with our natural resources if we separate? Yes, I think we should be able to do that. But I'm not advocating for separation. Okay. I am a believer of one Nigeria.
Okay. Is Doctor back with us?
Yes, I'm back.
Good. Look, I want to follow on that question, the economic viability of separate states. I mean, the case is said that we have resources all over the place, whether it's agricultural resources or mineral resources. My question to you is, we haven't separated yet. Why are they not being tapped and used to benefit the nation now? So if they're not being used now, what is this idea that all of a sudden they're going to be magicked into place when they're separated? What's the new scenario that will make it happen differently?
Thank you very much, Femi. This mirage of, the moment we separate, everything becomes anew. We go into a new world. It's a falsehood that's being sold. One of the greatest strengths we have as a nation is our population. The strength in numbers. We have so much of that. And the resources that we're talking about here is the fact that we've not harnessed it properly. Now, there's a difference between having resources and harnessing it properly. The fact that we separate and we go on our ways, everything will go on anew, is a mirage. And most of the people that are selling this mirage are doing it because they don't have access to power. They don't have access to governance now, and they are using it as a political tool. Yeah, like my sister said, Lady Marlene said, most nations will do business with us because they know that there's a market in Nigeria with 200 million market that in Nigeria that is viable. Nobody wants to do business with. There are some smaller nations in Africa where there is peace, but because the population is so small, most of these countries and these investors don't go there because the market is not there. Despite all the crisis in Nigeria, they still go to. Some people say come Nigeria. Just last month, Kellogg's just commissioned 6 billion naira factory in Lekki Free Trade Zone. Despite all the crisis in Nigeria, they still want to come. So this idea of separation and then we become a falsehood that's been sold.
Okay. Thanks for that, Doctor. Look, we're going to go on a break shortly. But before I go on a break, I've got a post from someone on that. His name is Adebinkwe Olugbenga. He says, it's great to be part of this great show. I support ONYEMENEM. So we're going to go out on that basis. If you don't support ONYEMENEM, you're free to send in your posts. My name is Femi Oke on our great show, Enough is Enough, and Soro Soke. Over and out, after the break. Maybe we'll be able to get...
Hi guys, my name is Yabo, and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
níbi àríyá tàbí lóde ayé ẹ̀sùn fúnfún nílé afẹ́ ò tàbí níbikíbi bóyá 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 ò kẹ́gbọ́n mi sweet heart fruit ń tẹ́lẹ̀ yìí dé o kò táwọn yọ. Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Heart Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Heart Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Heart Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Heart Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Heart Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Okay, you're with your host, Mr. Femi and my guest.
Apologies for...
I would like to welcome a guest of ours. His name is OGUNDIMU, also known as Citizen AY and CEO of OBA TV. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you all. First of all, let me apologize for not being able to show up. I had to do one or two things and I couldn't change that schedule. So I said I'd come in slightly later on. I'm still trying to make my way back so I can be in the studio and then hook up properly. But in the meantime, this will have to do. First of all,
So let's get straight into the show and you can have the next question. So now you're a member of the Oduduwa agitators. The question to you is, have you renounced your Nigerian citizenship? After all, you and the likes of Nnamdi Kanu are British Oduduwa and British Biafran citizens, respectively. What gives you the, let me finish the question. What gives you the temerity to speak for and on the behalf of Nigerians?
Well, I'm not speaking for and on behalf of any Nigerian. I'm speaking for those who are interested in actually on behalf of those who have seen their relatives, their friends in the South treated as second-class citizens by this Fulanized government. And we have had enough of being second-class citizens. We've had enough of being oppressed. Okay. As we speak, Governor Otom was saying on live on Channel TV to people that the government is asking President Buhari to allow them to have a license to defend themselves, for the people of Benue to defend themselves against the onslaught of Fulani terrorists killing them.
Let's focus on the Dua Republic for the moment, because you're a representative of the Dua Republic. I can understand why you would see yourself as a second-class citizen. After all, you don't have the right to vote, just like all of us diaspora here. So I want to ask you again, what gives you the temerity to speak for the Dua people? Have you been elected?
Listen. Right now, the elected. By the way, when you're going to talk about elections, what will happen is that when you're going to talk about elections, you'll have to understand one thing. The contraption itself is based on a fraudulent constitution, and that is, you can laugh, but that's the fact. The fact of the matter is that the constitution of that contraption is a fraud. It's a fraud that was imposed. Go and show me a place where there was a referendum on that constitution. There never was, and you will never find it, because it was
on the UK constitution.
Femi,
or the American constitution.
Never.
But let's have some order. Let's have some order here. We know we've got agitators in the room, and we understand that they've got to get their points through. Sister Newa, if you can turn on your camera so that people can see the face behind the voice. Let me go to Mr. Obanleowo in the studio. You've heard from your protagonist there, speaking very strongly about the nature of our fraudulent constitution and the need for the Oduduwa Republic. Although he didn't really answer my questions. My question to you is follow up on that one. You know, if you have no skin in the game, you cannot influence or determine the outcome.
No skin in the game?
Hold on. We're not talking to you. Can you hold?
I'm sorry.
This question's to Mr. Obanleowo in the studio. If you have no skin in the game, you cannot influence or determine the outcome. Some say calls to boycott the 2023 elections are akin to voters with PVCs who refuse to vote. How will boycotting a legally held election assist in making your agitations for Oduduwa Republic a reality?
You see, Femi, I think the whole dynamics of the whole thing needs to be looked at from a transparent perspective. You see, I understand what Citizen AY, the point.
Let's focus on this question. We'll get back to Citizen AY. But
you see, your point is people with previous seats, are the rightful people who should be given the priorities to vote.
They have PVCs, but they don't vote, and then they're complaining.
And then they complain.
The results come out.
Now,
so again,
I'll answer that. I mean, they don't vote, and they complain when results elections come up. Now, Femi, you have to understand that in a very complex country like Nigeria, where people do vote, but when it comes to counting of election votes and actually announcing the rightful winner of that election that has actually been conducted, falsification of results because inadequate accountability and people who are meant to administer these things properly are not doing their jobs. Now, are you trying to say to me, honestly, sitting here, that when people genuinely cast their votes because they believe in a particular candidate who has the kind of mindset that they believe in, has the right ideologies and the right fundamental principles that would bring the best out of that particular person in order to showcase what they really want. Now, if these people are not getting the people who really matter in government, because INEC and the officials who are meant to conduct the affairs of these programs, these schemes, are not implementing the right things. They're not conducting elections in a manner that is justifiable, that is transparent. You can't really bring and in a situation where you use money to influence who actually wins the election, the blame cannot be the responsibility of the followers. That has to be the problem and the responsibility of those who are meant to carry out this exercise in a fair, transparent, and disciplined manner.
Okay, I take your point, but when you have less than 35% of registered voters actually voting, it makes a nonsense of what you're saying about the legality of the election and whether it's fraud or not. So you're not even taking part in voting already, so how can you complain? That's one. And two, you sound like someone who says if the results don't favor me, then it's obviously corrupt. I want to take the next question to
that's no.
Prince Kingsley.
No.
Prince Kingsley, are you there?
No, Charles.
Prince Kingsley, are you there?
Femi, I'm here.
Good.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm
I
here,
want to
Femi.
bring it home to you. We know that in 2019, IPOB also said that there will be no elections in the Southeast. And in fact, part of the reasons why they were prescribed is that they intimidate people to stop people getting on the streets to campaign and all not. We already heard last week Lady Marlene saying that the head of IPOB said that anybody who tries to campaign for the number elections will find themselves eliminated. This idea that by debunking democracy, it's going to be allowed.
Sorry,
and can you hear me?
You froze there. You froze
Okay,
there. So you said something
this
about the lady.
So this idea of blocking democracy by boycotting elections or stopping people from taking part is akin to a freedom-fighting organization talking about we want to emancipate our people. I don't understand it. It sounds almost like it's the head is on its tail. It doesn't make sense. Democracy is about taking part in elections. What rights and freedoms are these agitators not having? Where is this second and third class citizenship? How do they qualify that? Can you answer that question, please?
If I heard you right, I know there was quite a bit of a break whilst you spoke.
Okay.
But if the question, if I'm correct, is whether by preventing or asking individual voters to boycott elections helps in furthering the goals that they're seeking to.
Yes. How does that tally with their so-called freedom agenda?
Well, look, the gentleman who spoke before me made a comment, and I noticed that a few people laughed about it. But there is evidence. There are plausible reasoning behind what he said. People don't just wake up in the morning and say,
"You're losing you." Kingsley, can you hear me?
It is out to realize eventually woke up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what I said is that it took a while for Nigerians to realize the power in casting their vote.
We haven't had this discussion with Kingsley. Maybe you have to come
when
back
they began to that it didn't matter who they voted for. Because in most cases, that's not. The preferred candidate is never the person.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. No, we'll come back to you. I mean, you're allying with this OBANLEOWO in the studio, which says that basically, unless your candidate wins, then definitely that election is not valid. Anyway, let me move on to Lady Marlene. Lady Marlene, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, yes.
Fantastic. It looks like there's every likelihood that in 2023 elections, there will be the very first election where we may have candidates openly canvassing for the breakup of Nigeria. What do you say will be the chances of victory for such candidates?
Well, we will have a candidate that will want Nigeria to break and still want to be elected, and I don't think so.
Will the people vote for them?
People, the fact that, Nigeria, there's a lot of hungry people. Politics of Nigeria is politics of money, and there's a lot of hunger in the nation. So now, will people vote? If you give them money, will they come out and vote? Other part of town, other part of the country, I don't know. But in Southeast, it is terrible that right now we don't know where we're coming from or where we're going. The problem in Southeast right now, the security problem in Southeast now is making it difficult for us to. Anambra election is this year, November. Nnamdi Kanu has come to make a statement. If you come out to rally, not even to campaign, not even to vote, because they've been asked not to vote. They said there will be no election. So like they did in 2019, asked them not to buy cards, voters card and all that, and at the dying minute, they couldn't vote. This time around, there should be no campaign as far as he's concerned. And Igbo people, sometimes, yes, we're divided, but one, a lot of people are scared right now to even come out in public to say they're not IPOB. They're scared to come out to say, I don't even think. You saw what happened to Soludo. Mm-hmm. As mega as it is, they still were able to attack and kill police officers there. It is not safe for anybody to come out now to say, okay, and before we would say, okay, you get IPOB on your side, you will win election. It's not that way anymore, because if you give them money, they will take that money and they will still tell you you're not coming to campaign or you're not running for anything. So right now, it is difficult. I don't know how to put it. I don't think, it's not possible for anybody to come out now to say, I want to get in there and then I will ask for separation of Nigeria. No, there is no two Abaribes. And that Abaribe right now, we're not sure where he's heading to right now when it comes to politics. So I don't think it will ever happen. So no, I don't know how I'm going to answer that. Okay, I don't think it will ever come to, yeah.
Let me take the next question to the doctor, Dr. Anwi. Some blame President Muhammad Buhari and AP's continued failure to address restructuring, which was a 2015 manifesto promise for the heightened calls for scatter Nigeria. What do you say to this?
Thank you very much. Everything the Nigerian thing is this. Even if somebody sleeps with his wife and the wife is not pregnant, it is Buhari. If you go to the market and you forget your pot in the market, it's Buhari. Right. Now the thing is this: the National Assembly is constituted to make laws, to change constitution. They have not done that. As the Buhari stopped them from doing it. We've been talking about state policing. It is something that has to do with constitution. As the presidency stopped them from having a debate on it. So the issue is this: restructuring means a lot of things to different people. Restructuring means more appointment to some people. Restructuring means more contract to some people. Restructuring means more power, more offices to some people. Restructuring means more the devolution of power to some people. So restructuring itself is just a word that's being thrown around in Nigeria. Yeah, now bastardized. The fact that this government, I'm not speaking for the government, this government made a very major issue towards restructuring. That is the autonomy of the local government. The National Assembly and the governor stopped it from happening. And they're shouting restructuring. That's a major restructuring that will have happened in Nigeria. Devolution of power to the local government so that the local government in Nigeria become more autonomous and they can begin to run and government become closer to the people, and the people get the dividend of democracy. But the governor refused to allow it to happen. Why? Because they know what they do at the federal level. So they know that if the more autonomy that goes to the local government, then their power will wane down, because the local government becomes more powerful, and therefore they cannot just run around and then share the resources of local government. So they stopped it through the National Assembly. And everybody's talking about restructuring. That's a major restructuring that will have saved us from this insecurity,
and no one is
saved us from jobs. So they've not done it. So if we're talking about restructuring, it is the National Assembly and the governors that are stopping restructuring.
And the people are keeping quiet.
And the people are keeping quiet. And everybody shouting, Buhari, if you sleep with your wife, doesn't pregnant, Buhari. Okay. If you go to market, you don't get a good deal, Buhari. Everything is Buhari. So it is easy to throw the moment Buhari leaves, they will go to somebody else. So this is not, if you talk about restructuring, let restructuring start from National Assembly. They've not done anything.
Femi, can I chip into what you just said? Can I chip in, please?
Uneasy arrest the head of the leader.
Can I chip in, Femi? Can I chip in?
Anyway, I want to get back to AY because you might think we're putting him to one side. Go on, Mike.
Can't hear me. Femi, can I chip in? Can I chip into what you just said?
Quickly.
What doctor just said?
Quickly, go ahead.
Yeah, doctor, it's not the National Assembly that is responsible for that. Is that when you have a system where the North that are probably gaining from the resources that we're talking about are majority in the House. Even the people, it's like now, people from Oduduwa or Biafra coming in the House trying to bring up a bill. That bill will never be passed because when it gets voted, majority carries the vote. And as long as majority carries the vote in the House, there is no way that bill can be passed. They've been asking for restructuring, all right? They've been asking for restructuring, all right? It's been thrown up by the people that are benefiting from it.
Absolutely.
Lady Madeline, has the bill been placed on the floor of the House? The answer is no.
I'm running the show. So I understand you. We'll get an open session next time. Citizen AY, you're there with us. Are you still with us? Citizen AY, are you still with us? Where is he? Citizen AY, are you there? Oh, look, I had a good question for him, but it seems like he's not here. Look, let me take the next question to you as a stand-in for the Oduduwa Republic agitators.
Yeah, I didn't mean that.
Why are you there?
I'm here now.
You're back here now. Okay, we've noticed that you've brought a flag, which is a mixture of the European flag, the Biafran flag, and the Oduduwa flag. Anyway, whatever. What extra rights and freedoms will Yorubas gain from an Oduduwa Republic?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
What extra rights and freedoms will Yorubas gain from an Oduduwa Republic?
Sorry?
What extra rights and freedoms will Yorubas gain from an Oduduwa Republic that they're not getting now?
Right now, your passport is worthless as a Nigerian. There's no healthcare for you as a Nigerian. There's no light, there's no water, there's no school, there's no bridges, there's no safety, there's no security. You want to go on? You really want to go on? Look, listen. Let's
talk about rights and freedoms.
No, I'm telling you.
Let's focus on the question.
Right, okay.
Because you said they're second-class citizens. That's why I'm bringing this question to you.
Okay, do you want me to give you specifics?
I don't know how you classify those second-class citizens.
Right, okay.
Hold on just a moment. Citizenship is about rights and freedoms.
Yes.
What extra rights and freedoms will Yorubas gain from an Oduduwa Republic, which they're not getting now?
Extra rights. They will be free from the shackles of the 68 exclusive items, which controls the resources within the Yoruba soil that is denied Yorubas by the Fulani Caliphate, or whatever you want to call them. The resources within our land, you don't have access to it. Give you an example. Cement factory in Ogun State. Who's running it? Is it not Dangote? Look, listen, I could go on.
Actually, there are three cement factories in Ogun State.
I know that. I'm giving you examples. I'm giving you examples. And again, like I said, for the first time, when we get Yoruba Nation, what would happen is the resources in our land would benefit the people of Yoruba land. That's the first thing. Secondly, you would have rights, constitutional rights. Right now, there are no constitutional rights that are binding on the federal government of Nigeria. The federal government of Nigeria can do as it pleases with the resources. They don't owe you any duty of care or responsibility. Look at how many people have been killed. The farmers that have been killed right now. Tell me one farmer that they've compensated money on. Tell me one farmer in the South. Tell me. Any one farmer. Go and find it. That Fulani husband have killed. One farmer.
Is that the duty of the federal government to compensate the farmers?
Absolutely. It is definitely. The federal government created the mess. The federal government allowed.
Whilst you're here, let's have order. Citizen AY, I know you're quite agitated and you're agitated.
No, I'm not agitated.
Let me just add a follow-up question. Since you mentioned resources. Some say the center, as you're saying, is too strong. That it's in control of resources and is the reason why states are not viable. I ask you this question, and I want a serious answer. Untapped resources don't generate revenues. What difference will this restructuring make when they're not tapped in any case?
Right.
Please answer the question.
For the first question, when you are going to tap resources, what will you use? Is it not people?
Of course.
Right now, the government, when they are tapping the resources, which people do they use? Are they not foreigners? In majority of the extraction of the resources, they end up employing foreigners. Now, what we would do when we get Yoruba Nation is that the Yoruba people will be the ones doing the work. We have a range of talents that we can use to build a great.
What is stopping them now?
What is stopping them right now is, I go back to it again, the 68 exclusive items, the everything.
I want to bring Prince Kingsley. I want to bring. I don't know who's next. Actually, I think Prince Kingsley. I'd like to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like, if you allow me, Femi. I think the gentleman who spoke now. Look, nobody wants to hear that Nigeria wants to, that Nigerians Nigerians would like to go their separate ways. Nobody. Certainly, I believe in unity, being together as the best way of being strong. Nigeria as it is has become known in the outside world because of our numbers. But when you have a system that does not function, and it is a system that doesn't function, Femi, I know back in the years before the 1999 Constitution, Nigeria used to be a respected country. Things worked to a greater extent.
No, okay? They've never worked.
You brought in. No, hold on. If I may, now we have a constitution, and he's absolutely correct. We have a constitution that has been put together by a select few for the benefit of a select individuals, not for the nation, not for the citizens. And this is the core of the problem that we have.
The crux of the matter.
Yes.
How do you resolve that?
Well, there are ways. You have those who are agitated. We have IPOB. We have now the Oduduwa Republic.
Should we be following the legal,
perhaps
political way?
Perhaps. Well, the question is whether those who those with the interest are willing to actually move forward with a way forward. We have looked at, I think it was in 2014, the recommendation for restructuring was made by all interested parties. When I say interested parties, all Nigerian, part of Nigeria were actually invited to the tables to make a decision. The joint decision was that Nigeria should be restructured. Okay, it is not an unreasonable request. That would have kept us together and stronger. But there are those. I remember when Muhammad Buhari took over power as the president, he didn't want to listen or even see that referendum. He made it absolutely clear that he was not.
The APC set it up a panel for restructuring, headed by El Rufai. We haven't seen the end of that panel.
And what happened? What happened with that? The truth of the matter was that the Buhari government made it absolutely clear that he wasn't interested in the issue of restructuring. Now, when you've taken away that option from a people who has been downtrodden for such a long period of time, They are banned to agitate, Femi, and rightfully so. And rightfully so, because
I don't dispute that the Constitution needs restructuring, and I even say
the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't need. The Constitution needs to be torn and put and burnt down. That's not a Constitution. That is not a. Have you seen Nigerian Constitution? I have a copy of it in my office. As thin as that. It is ridiculous to call that a Constitution. It's not a Constitution.
That's what we have at the moment. And that's the basis upon which you have to do any change.
It doesn't.
Without that constitution, we'll have anarchy in the streets. But I want to question you on this mineral resource, because I didn't get the answer from Citizen AY, and I'm going to give you guys another stab. What mineral resources, apart from oil and gas, are the federal government raping from the states? What make them unviable? What is the value of such revenues that ought to go to the states that is making them unviable now? Can you tell us?
Sorry, so can you repeat the question, please? I didn't hear you well.
The clamor for restructuring, apart from restructuring the government, state police, and other, because as Doctor said, restructuring means different things to different people. But one arm of restructuring is about mineral control, okay, and that the center controls too much of it. And I'll say to you, apart from oil and gas, what other mineral resources the federal government raping from the states that's stopping them from being viable?
Well, look, I did hear a previous speaker make mention of the fact that the west of Nigeria used to be a major producer and exporter of cocoa back in the days, as it was with agricultural products. I'm going to come to your question. But what has happened over the years has been the fact that those in politics have solely concentrated on oil as a means of Nigerian revenue, and that's what it's been. And therefore, they have neglected. Let me answer. They have neglected the other aspect, agricultural resources that we have. We have gold. We have all sort of stuff, but it takes it takes the government to have an interest in those areas to develop them and make it a source of income for a nation. In this instance, it has not happened. Now, for those who are agitating, and like the gentleman who spoke before me said, what they would look to focus on, let's assume that IPOB becomes, the Biafran country becomes a country tomorrow. What they want to focus on is those resources that they have within their territory, within their land, that they can look into, be it oil, be it agriculture, but at least they can focus solely on that as a means of actually elevating their people and their nation. So those are the things, Femi, if that answers your question.
I've allowed you to land, but what I always say to people, and I say it again, it's not the government that invests in mineral resources. It's actually private international mining companies, international oil companies, not government. So this is a fact. It's not reality. Private companies are not invested in these mineral resources in Nigeria as we speak now. They won't do tomorrow in a split country either. You need to address why they're not. We need to address why those companies are not investing now. When we address those questions, we'll understand that there are fundamental problems on the ground as to why our mineral resources within the states, not because of federal government control, are not being exploited. I want to move the next question to you.
Do you mind if I touch?
Come back to that, Prince. I want to come back to Mr. ADEOYE in the office, in the studio. Growing insecurity are one of the key reasons why agitators for state police and separation are getting louder. How will insecurity be guaranteed? Will it stop when you have, I've lost this. So we've got growing insecurity now in the land.
Yeah.
And agitation for state police and separation. Now, when you have a dual republic, will this insecurity stop? Will you have guaranteed security? How will you stop regional migration coming from wherever? You're part of ECOWAS. I would have thought that dual republic will also be part of ECOWAS. How are you going to stop all this migration? It won't stop overnight without dual republic, will it?
I think the honest answer to that question is if we have the opportunity to take full control of our affairs, it gives us the perfect platform to say, look, now as Odua nation, maybe we have about a population of about 40 million. Now let's sit around the table and look at the modalities that we're going to deploy in making sure that we have tighter border controls. We can say to ourselves, let's learn from the previous mistakes from when we were united as a country, Nigeria. Now, tighter border controls is crucial if we are to improve the security problems that we are having presently experiencing in Nigeria. Now, right now, you just have too many people coming into the country, claiming to be Nigerians, coming in with from Cameroon, Benin Republic, all through these borders without
will that stop with Odua Republic?
Sorry?
Will that stop when you have Odua Republic?
That will definitely stop indeed, Femi, because what we'll have is we'll have to sit down, look at the problems, and implement measures in place to make sure that tighter border controls are in place. We have the security personnel in place who will be properly trained, taking, for instance, the Amotekun and other security agencies. Not just that, they'll be properly trained. And if you want to make sure that these things effectively managed, you need to be able to manage the people who will be responsible to administer this. The training has to be up to standard, and you have to make sure, lastly, the last one, you have to make sure that communication is very, very, very important.
Good evening, welcome to the show, Enough is Enough. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good evening, welcome to the show, Enough is Enough. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Otuba. I'm not sure I can continue again.
Okay, we will allow you. Go ahead, quickly. It's a question. It must be a question. Give us a question, please.
I'm not sure whether they are aware that the issue of you are not has gone beyond issue of sorry, like a week of your the area that they have been changed many times that they have been wasted. The amount of free the Southwest has, and then they now think we want to use it because it right to act their own.
So what's the question, sir?
The separation is conducted in the competition. So the Southwest are ready. The validity of that is clearly that is no more.
Okay. Can I just ask? Can I just ask you a question? Otumba, can I just ask you a question? So the force majeure is in effect. Do you have your Odua Republic passport? Okay, they're in the process. Thank you for the question. Sorry, thank you for the question. I'm going to go on to back to Mr. Thank you for the question, sir. Okay, so we're in the process. I want to just add on back to what, not to stay too long because I want others in. You basically said that you're going to organize, you're going to set up the security, everything's Amotek or whatever.
And tighter border controls.
Tighter border controls, because that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Igbo, small man, big man, the head of Odua Republic Education is an alleged smuggler. Is that the one that's going to be at the head of securing the borders?
You said alleged smuggler.
Absolutely. It is when in the public sphere.
Let's get something absolutely clear. When they say alleged, that means somebody has been accused of smuggling something in.
Will he be at the forefront of securing the borders?
In view of attributes and what he stands for.
Okay.
He has shown over a period of time that he is passionate about.
And he's going to protect the borders.
No.
Okay.
Let's not. No. Let me. This is a very important question. They're not giving me the opportunity to conclude my point.
So I'll come back to you. Sorry.
What I'm saying it's not about Sunday only.
Okay.
It has to be collective responsibility.
Okay.
We cannot say because somebody is playing a leadership role, doing things.
Past antecedents doesn't matter.
What do you mean by his past antecedents?
Anyway, let me not say any further. What I'm saying, the allegations are is that he's a big time smuggler. Okay.
Yeah, but you said alleged.
I'll repeat again.
Yeah, but
allegations.
This man,
just like Pantemi, who needs to resign, isn't it?
No.
He must resign, isn't it? Okay, well, there you go.
Indeed,
Then we move on to
because if you're in a position of authority and you have said things in the past that breaches national security, you have to do the accountable thing and resign.
So let's move on to Lady Marlene. Lady Marlene, I hope you're hearing all these things now. Now, should Marlene impose a state of emergency in the states that are experiencing an unparalleled insecurity? Governor Wiki has already imposed a state of emergency in River State following the murder of soldiers and a number of checkpoints. What do you think? What do you say to that? Is this long overdue? We need to put in place a state of emergency?
Please, Femi, can you repeat that, please? I was just laughing with what you were doing earlier. Please, can you?
Should the government impose a state of emergency in states that are experiencing unparalleled insecurity? Governor Wiki has already imposed a state of emergency in River State following the murder of soldiers and a number of checkpoints.
First off, before I answer this question, I must clarify one thing here. Nigeria is not just Oduduwa, Arewa, and
absolutely not.
When we're saying this thing, we're forgetting about the Middle Belt.
300 different nationalities. 300 different nationalities.
Fine, and we're forgetting about this Oduduwa you're saying if you get Oduduwa this. When you do that, Benin Republic will come and tell you that they own Lagos, and you can't do nothing about it.
The Yorubas in Benin Republic, they have automatic citizenship. That's
not Benin Republic, not Benin Republic. Benin, the Midwest.
Oh, you're talking about Midwest. Okay.
Benin, yes, Benja, the Benin.
Good luck with that.
Literally, they own Lagos. And then there'll be problems.
Many will dispute that.
Fine, okay. Now, answering to your question. Yes, to me, not just River State. Borno State, Niger State, Imo State in particular, there should be a state of emergency in all those states. There is the security, it's gone out of, we can't handle it anymore. The Nigerian government cannot, we don't have the soldiers, the military to handle it anymore. In Igbo land, there's no more checkpoints. There's no police checkpoints. There is no army checkpoints. And then the prison break that had 840 something people, prisoners, loose. There's a lot of, 2 days ago in Owerri, there was shooting. They thought it was the unknown gunmen. No, it was armed robbery in broad daylight near government house. It is gone out of hand. They should actually declare state of emergency in Nigeria as a whole.
In many of the states.
Most of the states, including Abuja. I just said Abuja is only 2 hours to Mina, Niger State.
Yeah.
And if Boko Haram can hoist the flag there, nowhere is safe anymore.
Yeah, the American government has realigned the terrorism threat and the risk factors for.
That's another thing. All the airports. There's a circular going on now. There's a circular going on now that all the airports are targets.
Well,
we have to be. Nigeria is at the verge of
the hearts of Nigerians.
We're gone.
Yeah, let me give Citizen AY. If you can't calm down, I want to get you back on the scene now. Are you there, Citizen AY? Is Citizen AY there? Mr. Ayo, can you put your mic on? Your mic is off. Oh, okay. Let me move on.
I'm here.
Okay, good.
I'm here.
All right. You're back with us. Thank God for that. Now, this question's for you. Now, Oduduwa Republic agitators are known to be in close collaboration with the Nnamdi Kanu's IPOB.
Yes.
Are you going to follow the IPOB model?
Look, you see, we're all having the same goal.
That's you and IPOB.
How we achieve that is
you and IPOB are having the same goal. Is that what you said?
Our goal is for independence of Yoruba land, independence of Biafra land. How we achieve that will be slightly different. That of course. But you surely wouldn't expect me to be going to details on air with you about that.
So
would you?
I've already said that you guys are in collaboration with the Kanu. Are you going to follow in the same model?
I've just answered you. I said to you, we have the same goal, but we don't necessarily have to have the same approach, and neither will I wish to discuss those approaches on air.
Okay, no problem. I understand.
Thank you.
Okay, so look, we're going to take a break now. We're going to go off for another break, and then we're going to come back and look at more of this agitation, whether we want one Niger or scatter Niger. It seems to be balanced in the studio here. And if you have anything you want to say, you have questions, please put your questions to us on our Femi Omega Facebook handle. You can also call in on the numbers on your screen. We look back to seeing you after the show. Enough is enough. Soro Soke.
Hi guys, my name is Yabo, and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, on social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference, in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Art Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Art Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Art Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Art Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Art Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Welcome back to the show. Enough is enough. Soro Soke. My name is Femi Oke, your host. And my guests are still with us in the studio and on Zoom. I've got a few questions from the net. I think I want to bring them here first. Someone didn't put a name, but they said, but the decision of the confab was not looked into by the Buhari government, why didn't he look into the confab? I think that's a good point. I've got a chap, his name is Prince Abiola. He says that we are right to crucify Mr. Sunday Igboho. I've got another question here, ADEOYE Olubenga.
Okay.
I like to appreciate the organizer. Withdrawal of local government autonomy is one of the is where we got it wrong. I can remember vividly in those local governments, they were efficient. We know what they used to be. So anyway, local government development is terrible today. Good. So look, because of time, we're running out of time, ladies and gentlemen. We can't really go back and forth on the One Niger, Scatter Niger debate. But anyone who wants to come back with whatever they might not have said earlier, if they want to retune their points, they can come back. Well, I want to go on to current affairs now. I think it was mentioned earlier, and this is to Kingsley, that Boko Haram, Prince Kingsley, this is for you. Boko Haram have taken over 50 villages in 3 local governments, including Shiro local government, less than 200 kilometers to Abuja. That's 2 hours drive, close to the Shiro Dam, a vital power dam, vital to our national security. This security issue, I know we keep harping on it every single day. Boko Haram, I keep saying to people that are agitated in the South, more Northerners are killed every day, every month, every year than anybody in the South. But all the time we think that we're second-class citizens. Those in the North, they're not second-class citizens. I want to ask you this question. What is going to happen? How are we going to control the state of insecurity? Do we need to bring in, as I asked Lady Marlene, national security, national state of emergency in some of these states?
Can I go?
Sorry, is that a question to me?
This is for Prince Kingsley.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure. In addition, whether you've heard that Maturu in the north has been sacked. Just either today or yesterday. The military base there attacked and hundreds killed. It is getting worse. We know for sure that we have a very ineffective government, a government that doesn't want to work. As far as that's my view. Others might think very differently about that. But from what we've seen on the ground so far, the Nigerian government is incapable of dealing with this issue. I don't think that declaring a state of emergency is going to resolve anything. We know what had happened during the lockdown, how it transpired that opportunity was used to move Fulani bandits or headsmen via certain routes in certain locations. Now, Nigerians are going to be skeptical. I, for one, will be skeptical if a state of emergency is declared, unless the government has a very strategic purpose and reason, and those we have to see them. We have to see what those are. They will need to let the citizens know exactly what they have in place and who are going to be the one who would secure our borders and the people to keep them safe. So far, they haven't done anything to sort of give me confidence in that respect. And I doubt very much if most Nigerians would be willing to accept that it's a state of emergency in Nigeria.
Yeah, but a state by state state of emergency as opposed to a national one.
Well, look, I'll put it this way: the problem we have, and it still goes back to what we said before. The governor of the state, although he's sitting at the security office of the state, he doesn't have power over the police. So something happens in the state, who does he call? The federal government is the one that controls the army and the police. So you would have, I think there's going to be difficulties rather, and I don't think that the issue of devolving police to individual state level is something that can happen within 24 hours or 48 hours or within a month. It would take the National Assembly to deal with that issue. So they don't have the capacity, Femi. And even if they say that they do, I wouldn't trust them to.
Okay, let me move this question to Dr. KARUNWI. There appears to be an all-out onslaught on education in the North, with all these kidnappings and killings and ransacking universities, colleges, and boarding houses. Who stands to gain from unending denied education for the Nigerians in the North? Who is gaining from this?
In this case, the people that are gaining from this is no other person but the insurgents. Can I just say something about this? You said something about security, and a lot of people, insecurity, a lot of Nigerians are very, very unaware of this. Insecurity in Nigeria cannot be separated from insecurity in West African country. Look at Afghanistan and all the environment. When you talk about terrorism, terrorism does not stay in one place. They spread and they conquer. That's how they work. So insecurity in West African nations, in Mali, in Chad, in Burkina Faso, is all over the place. They don't stay in one place. So we cannot treat as a national and international problem. Yes.
That's going to create another problem from Chad, Niger, Central African Republic.
Yes.
And that's all going to flock into Nigeria, isn't it?
Yes, they're flocking to Nigeria. That is what terrorism does.
So my point, sorry to cut you in there, even if you had separate entities and you think you can cover yourself with a cloak of Damocles, external factors will still come to play, isn't it?
It will. If we start Oduduwa nation today, they will still have the problem. If they start Ayerawa nation today, the problem will still be there. Until it's an international problem. It's just spreading. Except we work as a nation. These same people, these same terrorists, have killed one of the allies of the president of Nigeria in Chad. The thing is this: it is an international problem. They spread around. Instead of us seeing it as a national problem, an international problem, we are seeing it as an ethnic problem.
We start killing ourselves, shooting ourselves.
We are giving an ethnic dimension.
Okay, well, we've seen the president did speak to the American Secretary of State regarding bringing AFRICOM into Nigeria as opposed to being in America.
Look at the Middle East. Look at the Middle East. Look at the crisis in the Middle East.
Let me bring
Every nation is
Marlene.
involved. Every nation is involved. Except we put our hands together and see as a national problem, an international problem, except we take care of those nations around us, they will infiltrate. And if you are not careful, the crisis in Chad now will make Nigeria worse.
Okay, let me bring Marlene into the question now. Lady Marlene, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yes.
The Senate President promised to pass an electoral act by March. We're now in May. It's here. And there's no sign this law will be promulgated before INEC commences voter registration. What do you say to this? Do we definitely need an electoral act before the next 2023 elections? There were later fears of many in the studio that said they can't really count on INEC for the results that have been coming out from INEC.
What we should actually pray for is let there be election 2023. Let Nigeria still be together 2023. Because the rate we are going now, there'll be no Nigeria in 2022. So there'll be no election, there'll be no INEC, there will be nothing. We take it back to, there's nothing to me, the main point for me to take home today on this platform is just security. Until the security in Nigeria is sorted, there is no election. We can't talk election, we talk nothing. One, because in Igbo land, I'm from Igbo, that's why I'm always using this Igbo as an example. In Igbo land, who actually, the IPOB, they literally, whether we believe it or not, they're the ones ruling Igbo land. not Biafra. There's difference between Biafra believers and IPOBs. They're two different things. So now the believers of Biafra, because now you're talking about, when you're talking about security in Nigeria, which is, to me, I'm not even going to any other part. You're talking about Asari Dokubo IPOB, you're talking about Masob, you're talking about Nnamdi Kanu, you're talking about Uchemefo. We are confused. Igbo, whatever is going on in Nigeria, Igbo is not part of it, as far as I'm concerned right now. There will be no election. I'm categorically saying it now. There will be no election 2023. There will be nothing like INEC until they strip that.
That's your view.
Yeah, that's my view. My view
let's wait and see.
Until they, I'm not even telling them to destroy the constitution if they don't want to, but we have to either go for a referendum or we restructure Nigeria.
It's not in the constitution referendum, so I don't know how that's going to happen. Good luck with that. Let me come back to Mr. OBANLEOWO in the studio. Obasanjo yesterday at the 108th Baptist Convention, I believe you're Baptist just like him, you went to the same school, says though there's growing insecurity is a big threat, it cannot consume Nigeria. Governors Makinde and Dako are building call for support for people to support government, as calls for separation can only lead to heartache, death, and destruction, all without exception. What do you say to this? This is one of your, alma maters, OBJ.
Well, Baba is talking from experience, being a former president and who has served both as a former head of state and a former civilian head of state. So every day he will always get up-to-date security reports. But because he said that, doesn't necessarily mean that every single Nigerian is going to be in unison, in total agreement with what he said. I can understand, and I echo those sentiments from Dr. Abiodun and his counterpart in our state.
But that's the PDP. We talk about
that's why I always say
bipartisan.
Bipartisan, yeah. I mean, I understand that. But the truth of the matter is, when you have families, friends who have been severely affected by the gravity of insecurity in Nigeria,
more than the Northerners?
I don't know.
No, you do know this.
No. When you keep referring to the North,
yes,
it's a global problem. Just like Dr. Karuwi said, yes. Terrorism, banditry, kidnapping is a major problem. But we cannot continue to be looking for excuses why this thing is on the increase. What we would have expected from a reasonable and sensible government is to implement policies that will take care of the needs of the people in order to not eradicate completely, it takes time, but to minimize these problems. We cannot just continue to deliberate about these issues. Yes, we are fully aware that there is insecurity, but nothing has been done. How do you take care of people in rural areas who don't have adequate facilities in terms of communication and maybe the police? You cannot compare what is happening in the states to all these rural areas, and those the poor areas have now become the target for these kidnappers, because they know that when these areas become the main area of target, it is very difficult for these people to get the attention of the people, the police, when it really matters. So because what we tend to see in Nigeria is they focus mainly on the capitals, while the rural areas are being neglected. So what Obasanjo is saying, in a nutshell, is exactly the facts. But the truth of the matter is, Baba will probably get up-to-date security reports based on the fact that he's a former president who has served both in the military capacity and as a civilian president. But it's not about the updates you get. It's about how you transcend these things to the average Nigerian, and what the average Nigerian wants to see is to make sure that when they highlight their plans. Measures are in place to make sure that these things are being minimized and the government is seen to be doing what is necessary to take care of all these abnormalities.
We're getting into the last 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I want to ask this question to Ayo. Susan Ayo, are you there? You use your mic on.
I'm here. I've been here.
All right, good. Unfortunately, because you didn't start with us, a lot of the key questions you missed, and I can't repeat them. Okay. But 91 people were reportedly killed last week in a single incident in one of the northern states. But that did not warrant the lowering of the flags at half-mast, as is usually the case in most other countries. And more media attention was given to the attack on Imo State Governor Uzodima's country home. Is there any value to life in Nigeria? Susan AY.
No, the short answer is no. But what is equally sad about all of this is that for a governance that seems to say that they believe in the unity of one Nigeria, the same government to show the callousness and the lack of regard for the lives of the people within that contraption Nigeria, they willingly are asking people from across the whole of Africa to come in, as said by Bala Mohammed, Governor Bala Mohammed, as said by Garba Shehu. So one begins to question, is there sincerity in this government to actually do the job that they swore on oath to do? There is no sincerity. There are evidences. Governor Autumn mentioned the fact that there are AK-47 carrying Fulani terrorists around all over Benue. The IDP camps where they were having people run to, that the Fulanis chased them from their place, they were going to those places to kill. Now, that shows you there's no value to life. The army officers, they are killed. Sometimes they are not even paid. The families have been out marching on the roads because the families have not been paid the debt duties, that the widows, and in some cases these officers, they are not even reported for 2-3 years, even though they know they died, because they don't want that money paid. So the entire structure is based on lack of care for the people of Nigeria, and you are now on top of that, you now want to talk about unity. I'm sorry, it just won't wash.
So for you, when the house is on fire, every man for himself. I understand. Let me move the question on to.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I'm saying about. I'm interpreting about the government. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Let me move on to Dr. KARUNWI. The Vice President announced the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy, NPRGS program. The National Bureau of Statistics says there's more than 40% of Nigerians, about 83 million people, living below the poverty line. This program aims to lift 100 million Nigerians from poverty within 10 years. Without solving the problem of poverty, and we can't solve insecurity, what do you think is going to come out of this program?
Thank you very much. I hope it goes beyond the paperwork. It becomes more of a reality. The fact is that there's no way you can have peace, security where there is poverty. I tell people, the crisis in Nigeria don't happen in VGC. It doesn't happen in Asokoro. It doesn't happen in Lekki phase 1 or phase 2, where there is development, where there is good life. It happens in Ajangbadi. It will happen in Ibagada. It will happen where people are suffering. So the moment the government focus on alleviating the poverty and the suffering of the people, the less the agitation comes. So therefore, I hope that this goes beyond just the paperwork. And also, can I just make a comment about the gentleman that just spoke? I just said about this, about that. We are still going to have Nigerians who are going to run the Odua nations. Are you going to bring angels from somewhere? Corruption, nepotism is in every part of Nigeria. It's in every part of Nigeria. put an Ijebu man in office, he want to put all the people around him to be Ijebus in office. So therefore, the issue of this nepotism, corruption, and everything, putting as if it belongs to a particular region, it is still a mirage. Please, let us see ourselves as we need to solve a problem, not because when we break up, the problem disappears. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Let me bring Prince Kingsley with this coming up to the last couple of questions now. Prince Kingsley, this question's for you. 2023 is around the corner. There's agitations for rotational presidency to the south. Is it time for Igbo president? Should we have meritocracy ahead of, just where you're from?
Yeah, for me, I think let me begin by saying that I truly do not believe that the average Igbo person cares about who the president is. I believe that what most, especially the Igbos, are concerned about is an atmosphere, a conducive atmosphere for them to thrive. Personally, my view is that I don't think that come 2023, whether it is the case you have an Igbo president or you have a Yoruba president, you have an Hausa president, that it makes much of a difference. I think what's important is the caliber and intention of that individual and those who would work with him. If we have somebody who is competent, whether he's from the West or from the North, somebody who cares not just for his own people, but somebody who typically looks at Nigeria as one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we will not be clamoring. We're having this discussion today because of the problem that has risen based on leaders who choose a select few. That's why we're having this discussion today. That's why Nigeria is facing.
Okay.
It's facing the problem that they're facing today.
Okay.
So the answer to the question is, I don't think it matters.
Okay, I'll ask the same question to Lady Marlene.
Yeah, well, for Igbo presidency, I don't think, we're going for Igbo for presidency from Southeast. Your house has to be in order before you can govern outside. So I'm saying this publicly. Igbos, we're not united. Until we're united, I'm not expecting us to bring out a president.
Okay, thanks for that. And the last question to Mr. Obanleowo in the studio, in the same vein, 2023 is around the corner. Is it time for Jagaban to take on the presidency for the Yorubas? What do you say to that?
No, I don't think so. Without putting sentiments into it, I think it's high time we look for young, bright, vibrant Yoruba indigents who would put the best interests of the people at heart and not just a microscopic view. I fully understand those who are supporting Bola Tinubu for 2023, but from my own perception, we need a leader who will embrace the sufferings of all Yorubas or all Nigerians if we're still together and work towards a common goal, not just satisfying your own cronies or people that you think you just want to empower solely because of your own ambition.
Okay. So he's not the man, please.
Not just all that.
Okay. I want to thank you for joining us in tonight's show. Enough is enough. Please make sure, Soro Soke, don't be shy, don't be silent. If you see something, say something. If you can't take it no more, do something about it. Naija go better. We all want a better Naija. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact the numbers on your screen above. I'm your host, Femi Oke, and founder of Betta9ja, signing out. See you same time next week when we debate another hot topic. Over and out.
Thank you, Femi, for having us.
Sorry.